this story is going to be a little shaky because it is so shameful to me that I have maybe told it to one person that was not privy to it as it was going on. This occurred probably this is the summer after you do freshman year of college. Maybe the summer after the sophomore year of college. It's the summer where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to go back home and hang out with my friends this summer. I'm going to stay in my college town and get a job. And I tried to get a job. And everybody went home for college, or, home for summer, and nobody was hiring. And, you do that thing where you go out and you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to the consignment bookshop, and that's where I'm gonna get a job, and I'm gonna be that cute girl with the glasses that knows all about like old first editions, and they're not hiring. And then you're like, okay, I can work at Subway. Yeah. I can do that for summer. That's cool. And guess what? Subway's not hiring. And so basically, I spent like 3 months this is Richmond, Virginia, which is a really languid summer town. We boxed in the middle room of our huge, high ceiling, really old apartment, and we pumped up the AC, wrote in our journals about how shitty it was to not have a job for the entire summer, and how much we loved not being with our friends in the cities that we were from. And then school got back in session, and I got 3 phone calls at once, and I worked at Hair Cuttery, sweeping hair clippings, a pizza restaurant, and Barnes & Noble Cafe. All at once, in the same shopping center, in the same parking lot. So when I arrived in the parking lot, I was never quite sure which job I was going to. And so this is to preface why I was in a weak space mentally. I was on my lunch break at the Barnes & Noble Cafe, and a rather handsome, light-skinned African-American gentleman was kind of flirting with me, but he was dressed very professionally, and we chatted for a while, and he told me that he was involved as a courier for legal paperwork, and he thought that I, comported myself very professionally, and he would like me on board with his team. And I was a little circumspect, but I was open to the idea of fast money, and I don't really know how I, got my first gig as a courier. And I was never really sure what the documents were that we were taking back and forth, but they were real legal institutions, because I would go in and I would interface with these secretaries, and we would drop off these court documents. But basically I was his ride, because that's what he was, but he didn't have a car. And I was really gullible, and apparently respond well to flattery. And my friends, I would tell my friends about it, and I was like, yeah, the business is just starting up, and he's gonna give me gas money, and all these things. I've never told people this. This is so embarrassing. And basically, I was just driving him around. I was driving him around Richmond on my dime, and in the meantime, he was drawing up a contract. And the contract was that I was not only going to be on salary for some ridiculous amount for a sophomore in college, but I was also going to get a company car. Every time he could see that I had some valid questions about this little arrangement, he would be like, I want a company car! I will put that in the contract. And I was like, oh, yes, okay, I only have 3 jobs right now, I'll take 4 plus college. And I also grew up in a very religious household and know nothing about drugs or how they are, imbibed. And he had one very long pinky fingernail, which I thought was strange. But I didn't know why I thought it was strange. I just thought it was strange. asked him about it, and very quickly he said that he was from a very specific African tribe that so very also my roommate's here who's gonna be like, what? And that African tribe grows out that pinky nail and he wanted to be authentic to the culture, and I was like, well, far be it from me. And then like some friends were like, I think that has to do with cocaine, and I was like, I don't know what that means. So what I thought was really funny about this whole situation, as it became more and more clear that I was not really going to be hired, is that I had a car that someone gave to me that was kind of a clunker, and it was a Chevy Cavalier, and it was white, and I had a graffiti artist in town paint it bubblegum pink, and then he took the hood off of it and wrote my name in airbrush across the front, because I thought that was kind of like baller and badass, because I'm from Norfolk, Virginia, where CHKD is. And so I was driving to all of these different like courthouses and dropping him off in the Emily car, which was like renowned in the city for being the Emily car. And so I was like, that's gonna be really weird when I'm like on salary that I drive an Emily car, but I guess he thinks I'm really professional. And so he would like occasionally like buy me a soda at the gas station, but he would like never give me gas money. I don't know why I did this for so long. I was really hopeful. And then I met his secretary at his house one time, and then this little child came out of the bedroom. We were just picking up the secretary, and the child happened to be of the skin tone right in between the two, but I didn't notice that at the time, and he made it very clear to me that he does not, engage in romantic relations with his employees. Of course, later I found out that was his wife and that was his child, and he just simply didn't have a car, and I was his driver. Anyways, it fizzled out. I don't really know how I eventually told him off. Probably I just didn't answer my phone one time or something. But, I continued with my 3 jobs, which was obviously enough to get through college. But the culmination of the story for me was that I was working at Barnes & Noble Cafe, and 7 months later, he came in as a customer, and I was the girl at the register, and he had this look of terror in his eyes, because I had talked to all these family friends that were lawyers by this time, who were like, yeah, you kind of have a case that was really, shiesty, and I was kind of forming a case in my mind about how I was going to prosecute him, and I was like, man, his name was Enos, I'll never forget that, and I was like, man, when Enos comes back by, I'm going to get that guy, and he came up, I was like, can I get a caramel frappuccino, and I was like, maybe $4.55.